It's the Warhipster here, coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial, and today we are painting the new Sanguinary Priest that Games Workshop have very kindly sent me early to build up and paint with all of you. So that is exactly what we are going to be doing today. So a massive thank you to them, and we are going to jump in and we are going to start painting him. He has been primed in grey Seer, and the colour we're going to be using first is Nuln Oil. I'm going to be applying this over the top of all of our apothecary's armour. Now I realise I've already said apothecary. That's basically what he is. But he's a sanguinary priest. That makes him different. He doesn't have a jump pack though. So you almost have to wonder, what is the point of view? So with that all done, what we're then going to do is we're going to take some Baal Red, and we're going to apply this over the top of the outside of the tabard, the cloak, and we're also going to apply it over the top of his left shoulder. With that Baal Red all applied, we then want to take some Sigvald Burgundy, because we're still waiting for it to dry at the moment, and we're going to apply this over top of the inside of the tabard and the cloak. So with all that Sigvald Burgundy applied, we're now going to take some Black Legion, and we're going to apply this over the top of quite a few different details. So we're looking for the casing of the chainsword over here, for example. We're also going to be applying this over the top of any joints in the armour, and we're also going to apply this over the top of the contraption on his left arm, and on his right arm. Chainsword's in his left arm, so this bit here, for example. So with that Black Legion all applied, we're then going to take some Guilliman Flesh, and we're going to apply this over top of his face. And then next up, we're going to take some Cygor Brown. I'm going to use this over the top of all of his leather details. So we've got the pistol holster, the belt, and there's a couple of pouches, as well as the leather bandings around his neck. So with that Cygor Brown all applied, we're then going to take some Skeleton Horde, and we're going to apply this over the top of the hair, as well as the parchment on his shoulder. So with that all done, our next colour is going to be some Imperial Fist, and we're going to apply this over the top of the lamp up here, like so. And we're also going to apply it over the top of this smooth cable. Just in there like that. With that then done, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Blood Angels Red, and we're going to apply this over the top of these medical sigils found on, if you've got it, the helmet version, the backpack there, and on this shoulder as well. But what we're also going to do with the Blood Angels Red is we're going to apply this over the top of one of the cables on the underside of this doodad down here. This one. Just here. And so with that done, we're then going to take some Talassar Blue. And we're going to apply this over the top of these two remaining cables. Down here. On our doodad. And so with that all done, we're now going to take some thinned down Iron Warriors, and we're going to apply this over top of quite a few of the remaining details. Essentially the places we're not going to be applying this over top of are any kind of warm metallic details. So things like some of the computer screens. So we got a vial here on this doodad just there, that one, the one on the left, which we're not going to apply this over. We're not going to apply this over the top of the blood vials on the chest or the kind of beads going across the tabard. We're also not going to apply this over the top of things like the decorative details such as the cross guard on, or the hand guard on the chainsword and the Blood Angel's insignia here and over here. But otherwise we're pretty much applying it over the top of the rest of these details. So we're just going to kind of use the box art, figure out where we are. And if you see kind of blue or green screens or lenses, we're also going to avoid that sort of thing as well. Actually no, scratch what I just said. If you see any blue or green lenses, we are going to apply the silver over the top of those, because we want two different kind of metallic-y bits for our green stuff. But you'll see when we come back just where we've placed all of this silver. So for now, you can either hit pause and get started whilst using the box art, or just wait until the next clip. So with all of that Iron Warriors applied all the way around, as you can see, what we are now going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Retributor Armour, and we're going to apply this over the top of all of our remaining details. So with that all done, it's now time to add some shades to the model. So what we're going to do is we're going to take, firstly, a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Blood Angel's Red and Lahmian Medium, and we're going to apply this over top of our red details and our Sigvald Burgundy details. And so with that done, what we're then going to do is we're going to take some Nuln Oil, and we're going to use this to shade the black and the silver details. And with all of that Nuln Oil applied, we're then going to take some Guilliman Flesh. I'm going to use this to shade all the gold. So with that all done, our Sanguinary Priest is now what I would call a Warhipster battle ready, and he's looking pretty good. However, we're not going to leave him there, of course not. We're going to take him to the next level, and we're going to do this by adding some layers and some highlights. Now the first of these is going to be a layer, and the colour we're going to be using for that is some thinned down Corax White. And we're going to be using this to relayer all of the armour to make it nice and bright. So we're just going to start down here, and then start working our way around the model, avoiding any recesses. You don't necessarily need to do things like fingers and stuff like that because it's really small. We're going to be adding a highlight after this anyway, which will pick those bits up. So really you just kind of want to focus on these large wide open panels. Just like that sort of thing. There's a really good example here on this boot. We do actually have the kind of the sole of the boot, which we're not going to do because we're going to pick that up with a highlight later. So with all of that Corax White applied, we're now going to take some thinned down white scar. I'm going to use this to highlight all of the white. So with all of that done, our white armour is now finished. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take some thinned down Evil Sunz Scarlet. I'm going to use this to highlight all of the red details. The easiest way to demonstrate this is probably going to be on the cape. And with that Evil Sunz Scarlet all applied, we're then going to take some thinned down Fire Dragon Bright. I'm going to use this to add just some little spot highlights to the red. So with that all done, all of the red is now finished. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Gorthor Brown. I'm going to use this to highlight all of the brown. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Dawnstone, and we're going to use this to highlight all the black details. So with that Dawnstone all applied, we're then going to once again take some Black Legion. However, we're going to take a small amount of this and we're going to apply this over the top of the eyeballs. And with that Black Legion applied, we're then going to take a small amount of Flayed One Flesh. I'm going to use this to highlight his face. And with that Flayed One Flesh applied, we then want to take a tiny, tiny little dot of Screaming Skull. I'm going to use this as a dot in each corner of the eyes. Just like that sort of thing. However, what we're also going to do with the Screaming Skull is going to use this to highlight the hair and the parchment. Another thing we haven't done with the Black Legion is to add some hazard striping to our yellow cable. So we are going to take some Black Legion and we're going to do just that. So what we're going to do is we're just going to start around about here and just add these little hazard stripes, like that sort of thing. And so with that now done, I'm going to take some thinned down Liberator Gold. I'm going to use this to do a bit of a mixture of layering and highlighting. So for example, on this chalice, we're going to highlight it. On these blood vials and gold gems and lenses and buttons, we're going to relayer it. I'm going to do the same thing on our gene seed pots. Just like this. And with that Liberator Gold applied, we're now going to do basically the same thing again, but for all the silver. And the colour we're going to be using for that is Ironbreaker. So with that all done, there's just one last thing left to do, which is to take 3 colours. Ork Flesh, Blood Angels Red, and Talassar Blue. And we're going to be using this over the top of all of our gems and things like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to use Blood Angels Red over the top of any of our gold ones. So we've got things like the vials here. We've got the teardrops. Just classic Blood Angels stuff. Like that. We've also got, down here we've got one little gold capsule, which we're going to apply this over the top of. Like that. There we go. But we're not done with the Blood Angels Red. However, we also have the Ork Flesh and the Talassar Blue. So we're going to take Talassar Blue and we're going to apply this over the top of this capsule next to our red one. Like that. We're going to apply it over the top of this syringy bit here, like that, and over the top of these 2 as well. Like that. I'm going to wash the brush, and then we're going to use Ork Flesh for this little screen and those buttons. Like that. Use it for this screen as well. And so on and so forth. And finally, we're going to take a little bit of Ardcoat. We're just going to apply this over the top of all of those gemmy bits. And so, with the base now complete in the same style as my Nuclear Wasteland base's recipe, which I do with all my Blood Angels, our Sanguinary Priest is now finished. And, well, it's always fun, for me at least, to paint White Armour. I really do enjoy it. I think it always looks so perfect and crisp and wonderful. And, well, this is just a really nice experience to be able to flex my White Armour muscles, potentially for more White Scars things in the future. If you enjoyed this video, you love the channel and you'd like to support me further, you absolutely can do so by heading to patreon.com/warhipster, just like all of these wonderful, amazing people have done. And alternatively, you could become a YouTube channel member by clicking on the join button below, exactly like these fabulous folks have done, scrolling up on the screen before you. There are so many of you out there that it really takes my breath away, and I cannot thank you enough for everything you do, as without you I wouldn't be able to keep making these Contrast Plus videos. And if you really like this video and you want to send me a little thanks, just click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.